Sure. Perfect. There we go. Good morning, beautiful people. I am super excited that today on Tuesday, 22nd of the 2nd, 2022, I have got the beautiful Karen Chaston with me, and it is our very first interview of the year. So I'm really, really pumped to have Up Spiral Grief back in a little bit of a shorter format, because I understand that people want everything in a nutshell. So Karen and I will do our best to share as much as we can in this half an hour that we have together. If we go over, that's absolutely fine. Before we get started, Karen, I will hand over the stage to you and ask you to quickly introduce yourself to our audience in a nutshell, and then we go into further questions. Welcome, and thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me here. It's so exciting. I didn't realize I was the first of the year.
Yes, should have told you that.
Exciting.
I left the surprise.
Yeah. So my name's Karen Chaston, and I am the co-founder of the Chaston Centre, and we help people to move beyond any kind of loss and to create their better everyday life. That's what we love to do. But, you know, there's two sides of me, as there's many sides to all of us. I, as a former CFO of a publicly listed company, I love to take my now understanding people the way I do into the workplace to make the workplace more conducive and more loving, so that people get more time, more energy, they're more productive, but more importantly, they're living in all of their areas of life, not just one or two. And I guess that's me in a nutshell.
Sign me up for all of the above. I love it.
I totally agree. I wish I understood what I understand now when I was in my corporate life. Oh my God, how
don't we all?
Everything.
Don't we all? Yeah, it's incredible, because both you and I have a background in corporate, and both you and I left it for very, very beautiful and good reasons. So I'd really like to delve into that straight away, because I'd just really like to know what made you make that decision to leave corporate world and create what you're doing now, because this is so beautiful what you have created. What was that trigger point for you?
Yeah, well, you know, I had to get a couple of slaps in the face from the universe to wake up, and I'm pretty sure if I hadn't woken up then, I would have got another one and another one. And another one.
All right, I might have been.
Thankfully, it only took two. So the first major loss event that came to me was on the 10th of July 2011, when my husband and I woke up on a Sunday morning thinking we were going to have a lazy day at home. But within minutes, we were running out the back door, looking at our 27-year-old son, Dan, lying there in the fetal position with saliva coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
We thought he had passed out. But when the paramedics arrived, they just seriously looked at him for a second and then looked at me, and they just said, "Sorry, madam, he is dead. He probably has been for several hours."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we thought a healthy 27-year-old had gone out by himself, but we found out a lot later, to be quite honest. I'm pretty sure it won't shock your audience. My son on the other side actually told me exactly what happened that night. And
wow,
he had drunk too much. He when he came down, him and his girlfriend had gone out separately. They lived under our house, not in a Harry Potter little cupboard, but they had a little flat under our house in Narrabeen in Sydney. And he walked down the side of the house to go into his entrance, and then he fell over. Everything shook up. His lungs failed him, and he just lost his, he just couldn't breathe, and that's how he passed. And we found out at the autopsy the next day that his lungs were so bad that if he had smoked full on for 10, 12 years, which he hadn't, he couldn't have done a quarter of the damage of the lungs. So he is a twin. So who knows whether he was born with it like that or whether it just happened over the years. But yeah, so it's just over 10 years ago that he passed. And of course, I did what most people do. Keep busy, give it time, went straight back to work the day after his funeral, working more, eating more, and drinking more. And then, of course, the universe had to go, "Hey, you were meant to wake up. You were meant to start doing what I'm doing now." And of course I didn't. So the next loss event.
Of course I didn't. I love how you say that.
It's like,
of course, why would I listen?
We're just going to, isn't what everyone does? I want everything to go back to normal. How many people are saying, I want to go back to normal? It's like, well, what is normal, for a start? Yeah. But it's never going to be normal, no matter what.
So it just
comes to you.
Yeah. I just want to, just for our viewers as well, to understand the whole background with your son. And sorry for looking down. I just wanted to make sure that I've got this running here so we can read questions and comments while I'm live. I always have it on my phone as well. So just for the viewers to understand your whole background as well, can you tell us about your family situation at that time? Was that your only son? Where were you at with children, so people understand?
He has a twin brother.
Yeah.
Dan was the only one living in Sydney with us. So, and he also has an older brother. So Josh is his twin brother. Ben's his older brother. They were both living on the Gold Coast. And they have a half sister who at that stage wasn't very much in their lives. And the reason why I had my daughter Kim when I was 16 and I adopted her out. So she was in our lives, but not a real lot. She was sort of keeping me at a distance. She wasn't really sure, what to do with me, to be quite honest. Sure, I'm a birth mother, but it's, all these feelings and stuff. But when Dan passed, that's when she thought, oh my God, I really want to be part of these people's lives, because she had older parents, and in her mind it was like, well, when my parents pass, then I can have this family. If I have this family, it would be too upsetting for my parents, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that, and obviously my husband, we've been married nearly 44 years. So,
congratulations.
So the husband I had at that time is his dad, if that makes, well, it's the same husband I have now. It's the only husband I have. But yeah, because some people go, was he his dad and stuff. So that's the family situation. But so as I said, straight back to work. CFO of a publicly listed company, busy job. I work.
Distract.
I don't know. It was a total avoidance. Avoidance. That's all.
Yeah.
And because the universe wasn't happy with that, the second loss came in the form of the company I was working for was merging with another. And during that process, they said, Karen, you're not going to be CFO in the new company, but we really want you to come with us. You'll be doing everything you're doing now, plus more. Please come. And I said, yeah, sure. Who cares? Until they gave me my salary, my contract. And the salary was for 2/3 of what I was earning.
So more work and less title.
Yep. And I was angry for about 48 hours. And then I slowly started.
I love it. I love how you just deliver that for about 48 hours. Moving on.
No, but it wasn't that. It was, I call it, I started to wake up from my Groundhog Day days. I started to go, you're only here for the money. And I never realized that before. And you're wasting most of this money. You're doing all of these things to try and find some fulfillment in your life. And
incredible.
And then I was,
what a wake-up call.
It was the best wake-up call. It was the best. So that's when I knew that I was not going to be a CFO again. I knew I was going to do something different, had no idea what it was. And that's when the universe just kept putting these people in front of my path so that I could learn and grow and become the person who I am today. And, I became a life coach. And then I thought I was going to help women. And then that never took off the way that I really wanted to. And I had this realization, oh my God, I don't even want to be around these women, these corporate women. I used to be one of those women, and they're so hard. They're so tough. They're not going to listen to me. I would never listen to me. So that's when I started to deep dive into loss. And I was told very, very early on, I think back in 2013, a very beautiful spiritual friend of mine said to me, Karen, you're going to be helping people with loss. And I'm like, no, I won't be doing that. And of course, there's over 40 different types of loss events. People think it's just death, but there's so many more. And and once I expanded and understood that, I went, oh yes, please, I'd love to be able to do that.
Incredible. This is really incredible, because having these realizations, and I really commend you for that, because when you deal with the death of a child and then you throw yourself back into work and you keep yourself busy, I don't think that in that very moment you actually understand what you're doing, that you are distracting yourself, that you are running away from the pain, from the confrontation, from the dealing with what has actually happened, from reality, and you delve into your reality, which is also reality, but it's a more made up one. It's a created one where you can find shelter and feeling important and feeling that you're still in control. I think that was a big one for me and for a lot of us, in terms of when we are thrown in a situation where we feel we're spinning out of control, and situations like that are completely out of our control. When somebody passes, how somebody passes, all these things, and then really craving that, wanting to have that back. I need to be in control because otherwise I'm going to lose it. This is really that I don't know. Is that something that you experienced too,
we made,
but not consciously aware of it at that time?
We made a few bad decisions, choices
Yeah.
at that time.
Mm.
And I had friends, family going, "Are you sure about what you're doing with this?" And I'm going, yep, it's the right thing to do. And then in hindsight, down the track, it's like, no, that wasn't the right thing to do. But anyway,
Yeah.
it all played out the way it was meant to. And, you can't have regrets about it. It was like, at that time, I thought it was the right thing to do. So leave it at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You do require some guidance. And the best guidance that you can get is to stop and go within.
I was like, what is it? Yes, just
stop.
It feels good.
You have to stop.
Yeah.
And we don't because we have these age-old, wisdom on how to deal with loss. Keep busy, give it time, everything will be all right. It's not. You've got to stop. And that's what I truly believe the last couple of years have been about. It's about everyone just stop. Stop this busyness. Go within. Find your answers. Find your new normal. Find your way of doing it. And now my husband and I, we grieved completely differently. And we both ended up finding our own way to do it. And there's no wrong or right way. There's only your way. And it's really important to actually stop, because when you stop and ask, right, not ask your friends, not ask your family, ask your guides.
Within,
you will get the most beautiful wisdom to come in for you. And most people don't do it. But it's in that stopping that you really do start to feel one with the universe and stuff like that. And that's the first step in my 5-step gift of loss program. And I truly believe that is the key.
Yeah.
If you keep busy, it's going to take you a lot longer to find your new path.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yet for so many people, and I certainly had moments of that as well, it is when you stop and you are sitting in this, that can be deafening silence, it can be very confronting. And I'm not saying it always is. Sometimes it's so comforting, and then you hear all the answers. It can be such different experiences. Yet I agree. I couldn't agree more with you, Karen. It's that allowing yourself to stop and not being pushed by society's expectation or the role that you play in whatever career that you have. People always feel, and again, that was including myself, we're so irreplaceable. They need us. I have to, I should, And the thing is, well, this is brutally upfront, but with the work that I do, this is just how I think now. I'm like, well, what if it would have been me who had passed? What would you have done then? Nobody is irreplaceable when it comes to career. I want to make a huge point of that. People are irreplaceable when it comes to personal connections, but when it comes to career, we are all replaceable. And so often people think they can't cope without me and I'm the only one who can. I'm like, well, what if it would have been you? Then they would have to find a solution as well. So it's taking that pressure off yourself to allow yourself to stop. So while we're there, tell us a bit about your program. Tell us about what you have created, what you're doing now, because this is the actual excitement now that I want to hear about it.
Thank you. It's actually so beautiful. And it came obviously out of me doing it all the hard way. And, and finding, but I had so many guides and so many things. I've always been spiritual, even though I was an accountant. I always had that spiritual side of me, which I
I love that mix though.
Yeah, and but
Yeah.
I've developed it even more and more and more, obviously, over the last, I was going to say 10 years, but it's really probably the last 9 years. So the first step is to stop, as I said, because that's where, and feel into your feelings, like your feelings are energy, emotion. They come to guide you. They come to say, hey, heal this, do this, remember this, all this sort of stuff. But we squash them down. We avoid them. But when we do stop, we start to feel into the emotions, and and when we feel into them and gather the information that they're here to tell you, they then go, because they're their energy, emotion. Sure, another one may come, but it's feeling it. So the first step is to stop. The second one is to accept. The second one is to accept whatever has happened, for you to realize that you are now on a new path, and that your hopes, dreams, and aspirations, whatever this loss event was about, it could be a person, place, or thing, they're not going to be realized in the way that you thought they were, but they are going to be possibly realized in a different way. And that's when we move to the third step, which is to identify. So you identify what all those hopes, dreams, and aspirations are. You identify new ways of doing them. You also identify things that you would like to apologize for, things that you would like to forgive, and things that you would like to acknowledge, which are really important, because they're the things that are causing these emotions in our bodies. Oh, why didn't I say that? Or why didn't I do that?
Yeah.
Or, I wish I hadn't have said that, or all these sort of things. The last words I said to Dan was, will you hurry up and move your car? I need to go. Like most people would go, oh my God, could you really say that to him? And I'm going, yeah. Because he was a healthy 27-year-old son, and his car was in the way. I needed to go. It was that simple. If I had known, which none of us know, no one has an expiry date on their birth certificate. So it is
luckily.
Realize, is it lucky or isn't it? I don't know.
I have to, like, for me, it's just my personal thing. I've come to the fact where I'm like, I'm glad I don't know, because I think that it would be quite hard to get that out of your head. You'd constantly be going countdown in the back of your head. It's like, I've only got, rather than going, I've got 10 months to go. It's like, there's only 10, there's only 9. I think you'd be working towards something and I don't know. I don't think I think there is a purpose why we don't know.
Would it make you live and love your life? Would it make you find a better way of doing it?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like this is what's happening in my life right now, that I have taken these lessons out of some very close people in my life having passed way earlier than expected. And that has given me, I talk about the hidden gifts in adversity, and some of those gifts were certainly, living in the moment. And I know I'm interrupting your story now, but when my dad passed and I was 20, one of the biggest gifts that I got out of his passing is that from there on, I lived my life very consciously, not straight away, because it was a process. It was a learning process to understand the gift that I had received. But really looking back now, it was the biggest gift he could have given me and Rob in our relationship, because I lived a life of no regrets with Rob. I never had a moment where I'm like, I wish I would have told him that. I wish I would have said. He knew exactly how much I loved him, and I never missed a moment to tell him, because of what happened in my 20s. So I see that as a gift, and I don't think it would have been any different if I would have known that I was to die, I don't know, whenever. I don't even want to put a date on it. Let's not jinx it. But you know what I mean? It was just
totally know what you mean. But isn't that beautiful? Yeah. And that's why I called my program The Gift of Loss, because most people don't
love
see
it.
those gifts. They don't look for those gifts. And that's what this identify stage is about. Look for the gifts, and identify the emotions, and identify, everything.
So that's step 4 now, yeah? Identify the emotions.
3. So 3.
Oh, sorry.
So it's stop,
accept, identify, yeah.
And then we move on to complete. So we complete the relationship, and how we complete the relationship is through writing a letter. So we write a letter and we include all of the things that we've identified, or the things that we would like to apologize for, or the things that we would like to forgive, or the things that we'd like to acknowledge. And that completes it. Now, you will still have sadness, right? But you won't have this grief because you have completed the relationship. And it's really important to understand that there's 3 aspects to every relationship. So there's a physical aspect. That's the way we hang out together, the things we do, the things we say, the way we touch each other. Then there's the emotional side, which includes all of the good, the bad, the glad, and the sad. And the third component is the spiritual. And that's that intangible part. We just know we're connected to this person, place, or thing. We just don't know why we're so connected. So when the physical ends through death or divorce or through us leaving a job or those sort of things, that's the only thing that ends is the physical part. The emotional and the spiritual live on forever. So when we complete the emotional part of the relationship, we just have this beautiful spiritual part where we're not having angst about it. We understand that we're connected. And the more spiritual we are, they understand that when we choose to leave this realm, we will meet up again with these people, which is so beautiful. I know that Dan is going to be the first one there going, come on, Mum.
Shotgun.
Yeah, welcome over, sort of thing. And then, of course, the 5th step is the pivot step. And that's the fun part. That's the fun part where you deep dive into all areas of your life. And Chaston Centre has 9 areas in our model. And we look at where are we now and where do we want to be? And then we
in each of those 9 areas.
Yeah. And then we bring it in and bring it in and bring it in and close that gap to become that person. Did you say you have 9 areas in yours?
No, I just asked. You do that in all the, didn't you just say 9 areas?
9 areas?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I purposely chose 9 areas because 9 is all about rebirthing. You know, it takes 9 long for us to birth a child into this world. So it's important that we understand the power of the number 9. 9 is also all about a completion. You know, 1's about new beginnings. So it's all about that. You can see the accountant coming out in me now.
It's incredible. I love that you chose that number 9 so consciously, because I always have that exact analogy, because I opened the doors to Loving Love After Loss 9 months after Rob passed. And I said that was the birthing process for me to go through that process, to be in that right space for me to be able to do this and to hold space for others. So yeah, it's incredible. I love that. I absolutely love that process. So Chaston Centre, where do people actually find you? And you know, what is it that you offer? Is that the one program that you focus on? Is that a group program or one-on-one? Tell us a little bit more about that.
In groups, obviously, you know, into the workplace. My beautiful book, Demystifying Loss. This is my 5th book, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
And this
Congratulations.
is a really good one. This was the one where I really deep dived into loss, into many of the 40 different types, you know, showing them the hard way we do it, showing them the more loving way to do loss. And it's literally, this is the book I wish I had when Dan passed. I could have taken it. I could have followed all.
Just hold it into the camera for a second so that everybody can see it. But it disappear. Yeah, that's better. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
So on my website, so the chastoncentre.com.
We will be sharing the link. So don't worry, you don't need to take notes. We'll be sharing the link underneath.
Go to the website. There's also there's a bookshelf on there, and you can see where you can get your books, you know, from Amazon, Kindle, or direct from there. But it's an amazing journey, and you know, so often people are like, you know, I'm sure you get it as well, Marie, you know, oh, you're so resilient, you're so this, you're so that, and it's like, no, I'm just following my guidance, you know. I spend more time with Dan than I do with his siblings. He's with me every day, he's guiding me, the things that he pops into my head, like I get these amazing downloads, more and more and more and more. And I was just like, you know, I was given a download for a talk. And so much so that once I allowed it to come in, I could have stood up and done that talk that day.
Wow. That's amazing.
And it's like, thank you.
Yeah.
Sort of thing.
I love what happens when you just connect, you know, when you really allow that intuition to come through, the strength, the guidance. And that to me was one of the biggest gifts, you know, all of that. And I love that you have that. I love that you have that connection with your son and that he's still there to guide you and give you downloads. What incredible gifts they are.
Thank you. He is the co-founder of the Chaston Centre.
Oh, perfect. That is awesome. I really love it. I do want to share the story about this beautiful necklace because that was one of the first things that drew me to you. I know that the beautiful Ian Hawkins has connected us, and Ian will be on in 2 weeks from now. So I can't wait to introduce him to the audience. But I really remember when Ian told me about you, and I looked you up. And that necklace stood out for me straight away. And I remember putting a comment on there straight away, going like, "Oh my God, this necklace!" And I had no idea that you actually have it in your logo too.
Yeah,
so, do you mind sharing that beautiful story?
Obviously. So when I knew of my redundancy, now I had a contract where both of us had to give 6 months notice. So I did hang around for 5 of those 6 months, doing the right things. But in that time, I started to get more into me. You know, I started to reconnect to me. And there's this beautiful saying that came to me around that time was, if you feel there is something missing in your life, maybe that something is you. And it hit me so full on that I thought, you know, you're right. I'm not living my life. I'm just, you know, I'm just in a daze. And so I reconnected. I connected with this group who I've been part of called Braveheart Women out of America.
Love it.
Yeah. And I had, it's not going now. It's sort of disbanded probably around 2018, something like that. But anyway, it was, so this, in 2009, I originally connected them when they formed. And this was 2012. And I got this email from them and it said, "Are you this woman?" And they just described who I was. I thought, right, I need to be ready for this 4-day conference. So I went to this 4-day conference and then I signed up to do their programs. I did my life coaching programs through them. And when I went to America in January for 10 days, January of 2013, to do the start of my coaching program, I did that. And then my husband flew over and we went to Cancun for a week. And I bought this in Cancun. And I didn't even ask what it was. I just thought, Braveheart Women, a heart, how beautiful is it? I'm reconnected to my heart. It was just so significant. And, you know, there is a saying that the longest journey you will ever take is that 8-inch journey from your head to your heart.
Oh, wow. Wow. I never heard that. This is so beautiful.
You're my gift for you today, Marie.
Thank you. I soak it up wholeheartedly. Yes. Literally.
Because it's so true. We stick up here way too long.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what my heart's about. And I do wear it most of the time. I probably have more often than not. I might change it at night if I'm going somewhere different. But yeah, I do wear it most of the time.
I absolutely love it. It is so beautiful. So, I wanted to share that story because I asked you about it before and I'm like, I'm going to ask you that again here.
And it's just the universe putting, you know, places in front of you. You get to choose whether you go that path. But I have no complaints with the path and the people who have come into my life. The lessons I've received since Dan has passed has been incredible. There are no coincidences in life.
None whatsoever.
Always stepping.
Well, I love when you actually think about the word, you know, I always say that they are coincidences, you know, they're like co-created incidences. And I really love that when you think about it that way. So yeah, absolutely. Karen, I'm in absolute awe, really in absolute awe of how you have taken this whole path of corporate career, the loss of your son, stepping back into distraction and, you know, and then the second little slap of the universe, like you called it, and really creating something that makes such an impact, that makes such a beautiful, amazing difference in our world. So I feel blessed on my journey to connect with more and more people that are on that same path, that are on that same wavelength, and that have got this really incredible strength in their hearts to stand up for that message and share it. And I really truly believe that the universe needs so much more of that. So therefore, I'm really, really grateful to have connected with you. I know this connection is not just a one-off interview. I know that we'll be in touch. So I just want to thank you so much. I will ask you to then share your links, how people can find out about you, how they can hear more about your programs, how they can connect with you. We will be putting those links in the comments underneath the interview, so you will find it easily. And would you do us the honor? Is there any last minutes of wisdom that you want to share with us before we go today?
Oh, thank you, Marie. And I wholeheartedly agree with everything you said. This hit me when I was about 55, and I'm now 64. And I was like, I can't believe.
You are not.
I am, but thank you. That's what happens when you live on purpose.
Oh my God, you look amazing. Seriously, you look amazing.
But, you know, I could show you
Wow.
a photo at 54 and I look 10 years older than I do.
I would believe that. Yeah.
Live your life on purpose.
Yeah.
And this is what I'd love for everyone to know. You are the only person you are going to spend your entire life with.
Yeah.
So why are you putting yourself last? Giving up on your dreams, your hopes, your aspirations? You are the one who deserves your love and affection. Start to make your difference today.
I love this. Thank you so much. And I really, really, can't thank you enough for the time and for your beautiful energy that you shared with us here. And everybody else, we will share the details so you can connect with Karen. Karen, thank you so much for spending this morning with me. And I wish you all farewell. Thank you so much for being here.
Bye, everyone.
Bye for now.